You know, if you want to like destroy thousands of Tyranids, this is and have that power fantasy of just being the ultimate Space Marine. Yeah, this is the game for you.
To start on Space Marine, obviously I was here last year as well, now it's here again this year. That kind of, I remember playing it last year and thinking, oh, it's coming out relatively soon, and then there was that delay. What kind of difference did that make kind of behind the scenes?
Yes, so we did have it on the show floor last year, and it's here again because it's releasing September 9th, what, 3 weeks? But spending more time on it really benefited the game. It's a big game. You know, Space Marine 2 has an entire campaign that you can play by yourself or with your friends. It has PvE missions where you can pick different classes, and you can also play with your friends. And then we have PvP. It's a dense game. And you know, you played it last year. You played it, you know, this year. Hopefully, you saw the polish. And there's a lot of integrated systems with the melee, with the you know, the glory kills, with the ranged weapons, you know, and then just the AI director and how, you know, the swarm engine can control the flow of the battle. So we just, you know, it's a lot of work, but we're really proud of what the team did, and we think it's going to be great.
Nice. That swarm engine, it's such like a, I don't know if showpiece is the right word, but it's such like an impressive piece of technology, right? It's like, when you've got something like that, and so like an IP like this, it kind of just meshes together perfectly, right?
Yes, it meshes together great. The Saber technology was that swarm technology was pioneered in World War Z, and you know, throughout the years it has evolved. This is the new version, the new base engine that supports it. So so we can do much larger groups of enemies. The Tyranids are perfect. They're perfect for this technology, but we also have a much more complex and advanced AI director. So like in World War Z, when the zombies kind of broke apart and they were individual zombies, they're zombies, they weren't that smart. But in this game, when that swarm hits you and the Tyranids break apart, they all start thinking, and you got to deal with them all. So it really feels different. It really feels that you are in an intense, epic battle for your life. It's just amazing. I love it. This is amazing.
Yeah, I love it too. It's like, it just adds like such a sense of scope and scale to the thing. Everyone, you like see like the swarms of them in the distance, like flying around. It's so cool. I was wondering, like, Gamescom last year was kind of my first introduction to this game, and I've kind of kept an eye on it since then. And I don't think I realised last year quite how big the fan base is for this, quite how much they've been looking forward to it, how much they've been kind of eating up every morsel of information as it comes. Does that help? Does that add extra pressure? What's like?
Yes, the Warhammer 40,000 universe that Games Workshop created, I think, 45 years ago, is loved by millions of people. And also, that game system has been an inspiration for action games in video games, you know, for years. You know, and so it has millions of people that love this franchise. And the first Space Marine did really well. One thing that I want to say is if you've never played the first Space Marine, don't worry, Space Marine 2, we got you. You know, it's a true story with a nice beginning. So if you're not familiar with what happened in the first game, don't stress about it. And it is a complete kind of package. So I mean, again, we're really excited that we can deliver a game that lives up to the fans' expectations. And let me tell you, fans of this world, they want it perfect. And working with Games Workshop has been great as well.
Yeah. It's interesting what you say about Games Workshop and the 40k stuff in particular being quite influential. I was only a few days ago, years old, when I learned that that Warhammer 40k influenced Fallout, and that's basically where, you know, the power armor design basically comes from.
Well, I mean, I started at id Software years ago, and you know, the original Doom Space Marine where do you think that inspiration came from? And then Titus has a chain sword that he uses, and chain swords existed in Warhammer way before a very popular game, made it popular. So really, I want gamers who may be a little younger or may not really know about the Warhammer universe to really now understand how this franchise has inspired, and it's been a pioneer of what we've done in the video game industry. So it's for me personally, and coming especially with my background, being able to work with the team, and we have an amazing team at Saber that has worked on this. It's led by Dmitry Gigorenko. He's a brilliant game director, but to work with him on this game is a great honor.
Nice, and it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It feels almost like quite a nice full circle moment for you. Like you say, if Doom was inspired by 40K to be working 40K now. Like.
It goes even farther than that. Like even the push forward combat in the original Space Marine kind of inspired the push forward combat we did in Doom 2016, and the glory kills that were in Doom 2016 helped inspire some of the over-top glory kills in Space Marine 2. So it is like this cycle of awesomeness, and I really feel that this game is going to be the best action game of the year.
Awesome. When you came over to Saber, was this already kind of up and running, or was it?
Yes.
I was trying to work out the timelines.
Yeah. So it was early. They wrapped up World War Z. The team started working on expansions for that. They just started talking with Games Workshop. So they had secured this IP before I joined. And the team is so passionate about it. They love the world. They love the lore. When that team went to Games Workshop to try to secure this license, I understand that the Games Workshop folks were really impressed by the knowledge and love and that's what they need. You need to love this franchise to make this game, and our team at Saber, they love it.
Awesome. I was wondering, now that it's pretty close, kind of what's the atmosphere like? Like I said, it's only a few weeks away at this point.
It's great. The reception has been very positive. Pre-orders are great for us. If you pre-order, you get to play it early. So I encourage people to pre-order it. And the feedback that we received here at the show and from journalists like yourself has just made us feel great about the game. We're excited about it, and we just want to get it in the hands of millions of people.
Nice. And I was interviewing a chap last year, I'm going to forget his name now. Is it Oliver?
Oliver, yes. Yeah, he's the creative director.
Yeah.
And Oliver is amazing. The knowledge he has of this Warhammer universe, and the way that he tells, and he's got that British accent, so he sounds really smart. He's such a storyteller, and he's been a great asset to the team.
Nice. Yeah, I saw on Twitter, I think, that he's been kind of pulled over towards the Jurassic Park project as well.
That was on Twitter? Really?
Yeah. It was on Twitter, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did we tweet that? Or
I think he tweeted it. I don't know if maybe
Lord,
it come out somehow.
I got to talk to Ollie. but he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Very brilliant. And him and Dimitri, they're like the dream team.
Yeah. That Jurassic Park, is it Survival?
Jurassic Park Survival, yes.
That seems like a really cool project. That's quite kind of early days in comparison.
Yes. I mean, yes. We have so many exciting games that we're working on. And with Focus, we're working on Toxic Commando, which we'll talk about more after we ship this game. So, it's just a great time to be at Saber and to be working with Focus.
Nice. And what does your kind of day-to-day life look like? Is it kind of lots of plates spinning across lots of different things?
That's funny you said that because, I tell my European friends about, the skit that we have in America where the guy spins the plates, he's got to run back and forth. And they're like, oh, okay, I understand. That's exactly how my life is. But it's just great. Very blessed, work with these amazing teams, to work on these great projects. And it's just great. Look at RoadCraft is killing it here. We announced that this week. We have our small game Knightling, is over in the indie booth. That's killing it. So we're really happy.
The two seats I was sat in are about a metre apart to see Space Marine and to see RoadCraft. It's like, they're so different. Is there kind of like any guiding principle of like what kind of game comes out of, say, or could it literally be anything? Right?
Well, so at Saber, we focus on the core experience. So many game developers overscope projects. They focus on too many things, and they lose sight of what is truly important. So for us, it's like what you actually do. How you play the game is critical. What's that core loop? When you play World War Z, you're like, oh, I got it. When you played Space Marine, you understand it. That has a loop. For us, we feel that a game can be successful regardless of budget, because we have games that are small budgets and giant budgets, but they all have those core principles, those core pillars that make the game successful.
And it's more about focusing on them than trying to add more and more and more.
Yes, focus on the fun.
Yeah.
Find the fun first.
Nice. It's interesting because you hear a lot about game development cycles getting longer and longer and things getting pushed back and back and back, and the gaps between
yes.
games in the franchise. Does that, like keeping things so laser focused, is that a better approach?
Well, it depends on the game you're making.
Yeah.
And the timing and the budget and what people are good at that are in teams. Obviously with Space Marine 2, we have such high expectations from our fans that we had to deliver solo campaign that you can play with your friends, PvE, campaign, PvP campaign. So it's a big game. So obviously that's a much larger than something like the Knightling, which is just super fun. It's a fun adventure game with cool combat. Even like A Quiet Place, which will be released soon. Just a core gameplay loop.
Thanks for mentioning Quiet Place. I did write that down, I think. I forgot to mention it. That's one. I love those films, so I'm excited to see how that translates.
Yes. So my suggestion, when you play that game, is to really kind of mentally get into it. Like, play it at night, play it with your headphones on, turn the lights off, and just kind of like live in that world. You'll have a great time.
How does it work in terms of like, if you start moving around, will you be making noises and then they can hear
then
you?
You die.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a very straightforward game. Yes. You need to get from point A to point B and not make any sound. But no, there's some character development. You have empathy for Alex, the girl that you're playing, and just learning how to understand the environment. It's a lot of the environments are like a big puzzle. And you can see the death angel, and you can watch what it's doing. Then you can look at the environment and say, okay, go over here. This is quiet here. I can make a noise to distract it. So you kind of have to kind of puzzle it out. But you will die a lot in that game. You will die a lot.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's like now when you think about it like that, so actually. It is quite a gamey concept. Like
the movie's a video game. It really is. It's just really well made. But the principle is straight up video game. It's just a big puzzle.
Yeah.
And if you do the puzzle right, you will live. I think me in the real world, I would die. I would not. I would not live as long as Emily and Krasansky.
Oh man. And I was wondering, like, so you've been in the industry enough to, I imagine, see it change quite a lot over the years.
Yes.
What is like the importance these days of kind of in-person events like this? Do you feel it's because there was a point where it looked like maybe they won't come back after COVID or whatever, but Gamescom in particular and various others have kind of kept carrying the torch.
Yeah, I mean, gamers are social. I ran QuakeCon for years, and it was kind of the original grassroots social event. That's back up and running, and this event is back up and running because gamers, they want to play with other people, and when they have an opportunity to meet, they take that, and it just shows you that the negative stereotypes that we sometimes get about they're loners who sit in their parents' basement and play video games. That's really not true. Games are social. And when the opportunity to come together, to game together, they'll take it, I think the world is smaller because millions of people play the same games, we solve the same problems, we enjoy the same things, and it is very social, very community.
Yeah, I feel like it's great for like discoverability as well, to like walk around and see, oh, I didn't hear about that game, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know, I think that is, there's one thing, I was chatting to my colleague about Space Marine, he's quite looking forward to it as well, and he was like, ask them about the Helldivers 2 comparison. And I'm like, I can see what he means, it's, you know, groups dropping into an environment with lots of things that you're trying to kill in a sci-fi kind of world. I see them as quite different.
Yes, they're very different.
But does the success of a game like that kind of give you a little bit of extra hope going into something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you never know what games are going to be successful. You know, it's timing, it's execution, it's a little bit of luck. I mean, we had 25 million people play World War Z. You know, but having seen games like that be big breakout success just goes back to the point that I was making, is that gamers are social. If you have a game that you can have a fun time playing with your buddies, man, you will come back to it over and over again. And with Space Marine 2, I think with the progression system we have, with the class system we have, with the variety of gameplay that we have, the different missions, we have a lot to offer. And you're going to come back and play with your buddies.
Nice.
And we have crossplay. So if your buddies are in a different system, we got you covered.
Amazing. Well, any like last minute tips for people before they start playing it?
No, you know, again, some people are worried that if they haven't played the first one, they're behind. That's not the case. You know, we are planning on releasing some videos that kind of talk a little bit about the history of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, because it's big, it's pretty dense. And we'll kind of help give people like a little primer on what a Space Marine is. But if you want a hardcore action game, and you know, if you want to like destroy thousands of Tyranids, this is and have that power fantasy of just being the ultimate Space Marine, yeah, this is the game for you. So you know, I hope that on September 9th, unless you pre-order, you get it early, but I hope on September 9th that we have millions of people in this world, you know, having a great time.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it, and thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
Pleasure.
Awesome.